All right, guys, so it's certainly good to be back actually in front of the camera, particularly talking with y'all. Obviously, I'm here with Gigi, and man, it's been a hell of a 2 weeks. So I'm gonna be grooming this mare up this morning, and just so that I can keep moving while we are videoing. We want to catch you up to speed on what you've already seen, as well as the vlogs and the videos that have come out about Gigi's progress, and catch you guys up to speed with what the heck has been going on, because obviously there's been a delay in getting videos to you guys. But we've been filming. We just haven't had a chance to get all of that edited. And so last 2 weeks, what the heck's been going on? And I even had to think about it, because it's been a whirlwind. It's actually felt like 3 months and not 2 weeks. And so we got back from Idaho. We made the trip out. It was just drive time was about 27 and a half hours to get to Idaho. And we took Gigi, we took a little 2-year-old quarter horse reining bred filly, Lucy, that I have, and we took my wife's mare, Ella. So we took those three, and they made the trip with us. And so we made that trip there. We stopped in Sidney, Nebraska on the way there, and got to hang out for a few hours, and hit the road, made the second leg of the trip. Amazing trip. Gigi got to go to 2 different ropings. They were roping / barrel races. She got to hang out, really good exposure for her there. Got to ride her around. She got to see some cows, track them. Even got to track the Heliomatic and all kinds of good stuff. But when we made the trip back, we came straight back. No stopping except for fuel. And so that was about, what was it, 27 hours, 28 hours, right on the dot. I mean, we made really good time, but it was a long trip. So Gigi got about 2 days off after that. I just wanted to let her have some time to rest. She was really good weight going into the trip. She dropped a little bit of weight coming back. And so we've altered the feed program just a little bit, because she's not smaller framed, but she kind of burned some calories. So I've increased her feed, and now we're getting her soaked alfalfa pellets in addition to just a real basic grain to make sure she's getting her vitamins and her minerals. I don't want her to get too tired because of the amount of work that she's in. I want her to feel like she can really do well and actually be able to do what I'm asking her to do, because we're getting into it. Since then we've started her in the 2 rein, and I've rode her in the snaffle bit when we were in Idaho. I started her in the snaffle there. I've ridden her a little bit. This horse really likes the hackamore, and the snaffle she wasn't a huge fan of, but as far as making sure that she's ready for her next home, I always make sure I take these horses through the progression. They go in the hackamore, they go in a snaffle bit, and I've started her in the 2 rein as well. We're right at 60 days away from the competition, which is like a holy shit moment, right? Because it's already flown by. We're 60 days in. We got about another 60 days to go. And so I'm really excited with where this mare's at. She's going super, super well. And we're kind of in that middle place where you don't want to get lost in the weeds. You've got a lot done, but you still have a lot left to accomplish. And I've really simplified this entire process with Gigi of just streamlining it. What she needs to know for life after the makeover, and what she needs to know for life in the makeover. And I've connected those dots as much as possible so that I can ride her outside. We're still working on maneuvers, but she's getting used to going riding out on the trail. So what the heck else has happened? Well, we're going to catch you guys up on a piece that is kind of a big reason why we're a little bit behind in the videos. But right now we're down. Meredith and I are running the whole gamut here, which has been how it's been for the vast majority of the time. But over the last couple of months, you guys have seen that Hannah was with us throughout this journey, but also she's been my assistant for the last several months. And we had Laradre, which you guys have heard me mention him in some videos, and he's my working student. So just this last week, Laradre, he had a horse. The deal I made with him was that he could come work with me. I didn't pay him, but I said, hey, you can bring a horse, you can go buy a horse, and I helped him find a young colt, and he just sold that horse last week, and that horse went home, which is perfect timing because he's getting ready to start classes back at University of Kentucky in the equine program. So his time with us came to an end at the end of the summer, and then as well as Hannah's time with us came to an end as well. I made a business decision to say, hey, you know, this just isn't working out, and therefore that's why you guys will see from here going forward, she's not going to be in the videos or anything like that. Love her to death. She's an amazing human, really good friend, and all those types of things. It's just that sometimes, you know, on the business side, not everything works out the way you'd like hope to, right? It's always easy to bring people on and it's fun to grow the team. It's never fun when you have to kind of peel things back and get down to brass tacks and make business decisions. And that's just really what it came down to, was making a business decision that was the best for our clients and our horses and our operation. And you have to do that when you run a business. So that's where we're at with that. So therefore, it's Meredith and I are back to doing the two of us, and I'm riding a ton of training horses. Okay, so we grew the training horse program when Hannah came on and all those types of things, and I was always still involved with the training horses, but it also gave me more time to invest in other sides of the business. Now that she's gone and LaRadre is gone for time being, Meredith and I are in the barn. We're getting everything taken care of, just kind of like back to the way things used to be. And so it's all good. It's exciting. It's fun to be, you know, working with all the horses each day, but it is a lot of time. So I'm having to be very diligent about this particular horse and in general, of making sure that, you know, I usually work her first thing in the morning, last thing in the evening, and then she spends some time out of her stall tied up and just kind of around everything that's going on in the barn, just to make sure she's getting used to everything. This is a pretty big change. You know, her just hanging out here, just cool as a cucumber. She was in her stall last night. She's had breakfast, and we're getting ready to go out for her morning ride, see where she's at. I'm going to ride her in the hackamore this morning. And usually if I ride her in the 2-rein, it's in the evenings. I have found with horses that do carry a fair bit of tension in the mouth, if you put a heavier bit, like a bridle bit in their mouth that has a cricket, has that roller in there, sometimes that can help them start to relax. And I noticed that I've only ridden her in it twice, and 2 or 3 times, and on the second ride, she went ahead and like started rolling that cricket a little bit and starting to relax a little bit into it. But it's a big change, and it's as much part of my education and bringing those horses along through that process as it is, you know, helping these horses get as much exposure as possible. I don't know what I'm going to show her in yet as far as headgear goes. It's just merely how far can we get in the amount of time we have, and then making the appropriate decision closer to the competition. The other thing we started working on with Gigi is we've started bits and pieces of the freestyle. So that's pretty exciting. You guys might have seen a photo that we posted, or at least that I posted in the group. Gigi was laying down, and so we're starting that process of piecing together the actual routine of that. So tricks and all those types of things are, to me, icing on the cake, but you got to put the time in early to make sure that those tricks are really good by the time you get there. I'm not dwelling on what's happened in the past, but I have to learn from my mistakes, and one of the things I've got to learn from is putting on a bit more of a show. I really like making sure these horses are super finessed, but at the same time, in that freestyle, 60% of your score is the freestyle. And so I've got to make sure that we've got together, put something together that's simple, that's clean, but that is also really brings the audience in. And so one of the things, obviously, we're teaching her to lay down. So that thing about the lay down, teaching her to sit, are 2 things on my list that we're going to be doing here in the next week, just trying to get that better and better. And so we're going to start piecing that together. So Meredith was just asking, you know, Oklahoma Makeover just finished up. I'll reiterate this because I don't know if you guys could hear her through that, but what did I take away? We watched the finals of the Oklahoma Makeover, which was just this last weekend, and we didn't see the compulsory runs. We turned it on at the very last compulsory run, so I really would have liked to have seen that, just to see how clean the runs were, just to see what people did. There's a lot of things, a lot of detail that come into your freestyle, particularly in the finals, right? Like, first goal of the Makeover is go through your first 3 classes, make the finals. Now, my goal is to do, like, I want to win every class that I'm there. Like, that is on my hit list. That's not going to be easy by any means. I mean, that's basically perfection. And so my goal is to do as very best we can. I'd love to have a blue ribbon in every class that we go through. But ultimately, big goal, make the finals. And once you're in the finals, score set to 0. And so when we were watching that, we didn't get to see the compulsories, but we did see the freestyles. And I watched the freestyles really, really closely because I've made some pivotal mistakes in the past in that class. And so some of the things that I really took away was, I watched people make this mistake, the same mistake that I made in the past, and that was trying to do too much. It was both sides of the coin. It was either some people didn't do enough, and I will mind you that we were watching these at home where there was no audio on the live feed because of broadcasting copyright problems that they couldn't broadcast with audio. But there was some of them that even without the audio, they weren't doing a whole lot in the freestyle, so they got a little boring. And then there was the other ones that they had so much going on that it looked like mass chaos because they were trying to get from prop to prop to prop to prop. And that's what happened. I've had both of those scenarios happen. I've had my first makeover with Caroline, didn't do enough. Wasn't engaging enough with the crowd. Second one, tried to do way too much. So my goal, let's hit it right down the middle. And so I think one of the things I saw was just keeping it slow, keeping it well put together, not rushing around. There's a lot of excitement that comes in when you have fast music and fast horses. But these are 100-day horses on Saturday night of a freestyle event. And for having been in that arena twice already, the horses are already going to be a little more up than they kind of typically are. They've been in that arena 4 other times. They know where the out gate is. The crowd's excited. The music is pumping. They have the announcer there getting everything going. These horses, and particularly this one, is going to feed off of that energy a bit. So even though she's going to sleep now, they're going to feed off that energy. And so I really want to be mindful that when I put my freestyle together is that I want it to be engaging for the crowd. I want it to strike people in the heart. I want it to have a heartfelt meaning behind it, yet I want it to still be fun. It's going to be more on the serious side, but I want everything to be clean. And so what we do really well, but I'm not going to be worried about trying to do 17 different things in 3.5 minutes. In lieu of taking all of that information to now, this horse, I wouldn't call her fast-minded, but she likes to go to work. And so I'm really instilling in her, like, hey, we can slow these down. Like, I can still get her mind and body to work by slowing things down, getting her to carry herself a little bit better. That's a work for this horse, right? Slowing it down, getting more balance, holding things together, because sometimes in her mind, sometimes she thinks the idea of work is just a little quicker. And that's not going to serve us when we get to the finals. Particularly on that Saturday night, like, I already start to get chills thinking about it because I've been there before. I know what that feeling's like. And like, I'll get a little sweaty palmed, like sitting in the warm up, but then usually I'll sit there and like, it's weird because it's almost a trigger now thinking about it. And then I can start to feel like how my skin feels. Like, you just start to get this cold rush over and you're like, okay, I'm about to start sweating. But I usually get like this, I usually just take a big deep breath. Everyone knows to leave me alone. And I'll like look at somebody if I need something. And I just get really hyper focused and everything slows down because I like really do well under pressure, but it's important that you keep your mind and your body kind of at a tempo that you can handle it. And so for her, that's been a big focus, is kind of helping her get the same way. Like, we're very similar in the way that we work. And so we have to make sure that we're both keeping things really composed. And that ultimately is going to serve her well after the makeover. That's really important. And so I don't know. I know that there's several people that are in our behind the scenes group that are interested in her. Hence, that's probably part of the reason you guys joined, was like, hey, we want to watch this horse come along. You guys know me. Anybody that knows me super well knows I'm a fully transparent, open book on any of these horses because we want to find them the very best home possible. And that's why we always ask people that are interested in them, please reach out. Like, let us make sure that this horse is going to be what you're looking for. And then therefore, I'm doing everything I can to make sure that these horses are ready to go. I mean, she did over 4,000 miles on the road. She's gone to other places as well. We have plenty of little mini trips planned for her to come with us. And so it's just really about having been there. Like, my goal is on winning this deal. I'm highly competitive. So it's like, there's some stigma out there like, oh, people will sacrifice the horse to win and all that stuff. And honestly, it's like, you can't, I don't know how well that really works. Like when you watch the guys at the highest level, like that are consistently doing well, I don't know, like there might be able to make one win. Like you might sacrifice one horse for one win, but you can't keep doing that. It's not sustainable. You have to make sure you're taking care of the horses, and it's not just about that competition. It's about everything they can accomplish afterwards. So it's really short term and like short-sighted when you start to consider that. And so it's, can you do this and the horse still have a really good future? And I know that the answer is yes. And so, because you don't win a horse show, a lot of times when you think, like, and the reason I want to like talk on this for a second is just because everyone competes a little differently. And so if you guys come to, I hope that every single one of y'all come to the Makeover, and I want you guys to come by the stalls. I want you guys to come hang out and see things. Get there earlier. You know, if we show up on like on Wednesday, come hang out Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday morning. Or all day Friday, and then like Saturday when the finals are. Saturday finals are in the evening. Like come hang out Saturday morning, come see how things are going. But you guys will notice that like I'm very methodical with how we're going to go about doing this. I'll have a better idea of exactly what that looks like as we get closer to, because I'll know what this horse needs. But you can't, some people will try to make last minute fixes with their horses at the shows, and that's usually when things get sacrificed. But this event, this particular event, and your big events, they're not won at the event. They're won at home. They're won doing all the prep work, getting to the competition. And so that's where like I spend hours and hours and hours making sure that this horse is ready for that competition, and therefore ready for the rest of her life. I mean, that's what sets our entire program apart, is how in depth it goes. And really making sure that you're kind of getting to but you are getting to the mind of the horse, and that the horse can take all that knowledge with them thereafter. And you have to be very tactful about how you do that at the competition. And because there's all sorts of stuff like that people don't really think about when they get there. Like there's no turnout. You know, these horses are in stalls, it's busy. I'm going to a facility I haven't been to. Last 2 times I've been at the horse park, so I knew that facility really well. I kind of knew how to maneuver around there, but we're going to another facility where never been there before. I might try to make a trip that direction next month. There's a little ranch horse show that I might try to slip over to, and it's 9 hours away, but I might try to do that just to get there and get a feel for what it looks like. That way her and I are better prepared for the show, because I'm willing to go the distance, but it's all that prep work that leads up to the event. And so all the while we have a full barn of training horses, and so we have to make sure all of those horses are prepared for all the different kinds of owners. And so that's really where we're at, guys, is like we've got a hell of a lot going on. We've got our professionals coaching program that's been launched, and we're coaching an amazing group of professionals on that end. We've got our online video library that many of y'all are already have access to, which is all the instructional, the case studies, all of those things. So Meredith is editing and uploading content into that. The videos that you guys see here are YouTube vlog videos. Like there's a lot of moving pieces that are going on right now, and we're in a really, it's awesome because we're in like a blessed busy season where there's a lot of demand for us in a lot of areas, and things that we've already committed to. And so we're upholding all those commitments, and we know that, hey, this isn't forever. This is kind of really what it looks like, is this really heavy busy season. As far as we can see is the next 75 days, which takes us right through the Makeover. And then obviously we'll try to be making some changes to where we're in a more sustainable lifestyle. And we're really focused on the things that we can serve people more deeply and not so spread thin, because these types of situations, you can't do everything really well all the time for a whole year. You can do it for 90 days, But nonetheless, guys, that's where we're at. Enjoy the videos. Enjoy all the clips from Idaho. Enjoy the clips from us being here at home working with Gigi. We'll get another live Q&A set up. You know, you guys are always welcome to go ahead and post your questions in the Extreme in our Facebook group with all of you guys in there. You can always post questions in there. I try to post some photos throughout the week so you guys can see everything. But I'm gonna go ahead, get her saddled up here, and that way you guys can kind of see how she's going, and we'll talk to you guys very, very soon.